Hello traders, this is Steve Marley, the market chartist for FX Explained and our regular weekly macro watch update in here for the week commencing the 3rd of May 2021. Stocks cautious despite strong results from big tech, US dollar gains. So let's take a look at the macroeconomic and geopolitical developments over the past week as we've gone through late April. Well, US President Biden announced his $1.8 trillion American Families Plan in here, this social infrastructure bill in here, human infrastructure bill, complementing the previous $2 trillion infrastructure that he announced back at the end of March. US earnings season has continued on a positive note, though price action was disappointing given we had strong results and here from Amazon, Apple, Tesla, Google, Facebook. The actual price action for these individual stocks, although initially positive, was overall in here not particularly encouraging considering how strong the earnings results were. The Fed were in play in the middle of the week with a still very dovish tone in their statement, but this had limited impact on the bond market or other financial market assets. In India, the number of COVID cases, hospitalisations and deaths have continued to surge, very upsetting, but has had little impact on global financial markets outside of India. European nations have in some places started to lift lockdown measures, although cases do remain elevated on the continent. Now let's take a look at the global financial market developments. What's been moving in markets for the week ending the 30th of April? Well, US equity markets have been hovering near all-time highs, somewhat cautious, particularly given those strong earning results we have. And here we see the Dow not quite able to make a new all-time high, but hovering just below that all-time high. And similarly, the Nasdaq in here prodding up towards the all-time high in here from set earlier in April, but still hesitant in here to extend to the upside. And also in Europe in here, we're seeing the market kind of sideways throughout April in here when we're looking at the DAX and dipping at the end of last week, unable to retest the mid-April cycle and all-time high for the German market. Let's take a look at the Forex markets now. Well, the US dollar has been under negative pressure throughout April in here. However, we did get a pop higher in the US dollar index at the very end of the month on Friday. And that's questioning maybe the weakness we've seen throughout April. And there's very short-term risk for a positive dollar correction maybe going into the beginning of May. And similarly, we've seen the euro strengthening against a weakened dollar in here throughout April. But again, Friday, a significant sell-off for the euro versus the dollar, opening risk for a setback threat going into the first part of May for EUR USD. And cable in here been very sideways throughout April, having been weak through February, March. Did get a rebound through mid-April, but the end of last week in here, the end of the month in here, saw a significant setback in here, leaving a negative correction risk for the pound versus the dollar. Let's take a look at the commodity markets now. Well, sideways for gold, really a slight dip back lower last week. But the underlying recovery theme that we're seeing for gold through April and the double bottom pattern that was set through March and April in here has now signaled still upside threats going into May. Although the near-term threat with potential US dollar strength is maybe for a dip in the gold price. Crude has been strong throughout April and made a new rebound high, not quite back up to the March peak yet, but the crude oil future staying strong. And copper broke out above the earlier 2021 peak in here from late February, a surge higher in here throughout April in here to multi-month, multi-year highs in here, and looking for copper to continue its upside push. Now let's take a look at the week ahead, the week commencing the 3rd of May. Well, it's a UK holiday on Monday, the 3rd of May. Markets closed. As ever, we're watching for COVID cases, hospitalisations and deaths. We're monitoring that data, particularly in Europe, and also potential for the lifting and the easing of lockdown measures. Again, most notably watching Europe. On the central bank side this week, we have Fed Chairman Jerome Powell speaking on Monday. We get the Reserve Bank of Australia Tuesday. Thursday brings the Bank of England, and we also get Bank of Japan meeting minutes on Thursday. On the earnings side this week, we're seeing slightly lighter earnings. So a number of earnings reporting. So of the big companies, we've had a lot of the big tech now out of the way. We do, though, this week get Pfizer, T-Mobile and PayPal. So on the data front, we have German retail sales to kick off the week. We have some significant data this week in the form of the market and US ISM, global and US PMI data. As I said, Powell speaking on Monday also. Remember, it's that UK holiday too. RBA interest rate decision and statement on Tuesday with the manufacturing PMI data coming through from the UK also on Tuesday with the holiday on Monday. We get the New Zealand employment report Wednesday, the global service PMI and the US service PMI data on Wednesday, as well as the US ADP employment change. That Bank of Japan meeting minutes on Wednesday, and then the Bank of England interest rate decision and statement. And the week ends up with Chinese trade data, German industrial production, and as ever, the much watched US employment report, plus the Canadian employment report. I'm going to wish you all a great trading week. Please do stay safe out there. Please do remember to hit like on that YouTube channel and also to follow us on that channel if you're not following us already. I'll be back with you with another macro watch very soon. So traders, don't forget to catch us on the next FX Explained macro watch and all the great content on fxexplained.co.uk.